Hi guys, this is part two of two. Sorry, my phone memory got full up there, so I had to delete a load of stuff. So if you're clicking on this one, part one, I'll put a link in the description on this video here. So carrying on with the per temps hurdle, one I was going to say was a really big price for me, and it has run well at the course before. Is Gowell Road? He's a regular here at the course. He's on a career high mark. And he is 10 years old now, but you can set your watch by him at the course. Currently 28 to 1. Toby McCain-Mitchell, who's a good young jockey, taking £5 off him. I think he could certainly run a big race. Again, with most bookmakers here paying top six, he could run a big race. But we are taking another flyer for the selection, and the selection is Kikijo for the Hobbs White dual train partnership with Callum Pritchard taking the ride. One thing about this, they've made out that he needs soft ground. I don't buy this for a second on this. He's a course and distance winner. But what about him? He keeps finding at the end of the race, but he doesn't win by far. As a result, he's got in off 10 stone 11. Now, it is a flyer because maybe there is some truth to the story, like he needs soft ground, but I'm convinced as well, especially because the dam is Crackboom as well, who is good ground, especially on the flat as well. I think that horse will go on it, and for that reason, and in such a wide open race where there's a 3-1 favourite, I'm happy to again just go with my gut and go for a flyer here. 1, 2, 3 then for the per temps hurdle. I'm going to go for Kikijo from Ace of Spades. And I'm actually going to put Gowell Road in here too. Because, again, you can, like Ballyadam today, these old-timers who keep coming back, they can really turn it on just for the festival. It's like they know. Which brings us to the conclusion of day 3, which is the 5:20, which is the Carnage. That is the Kim Muir Amateur Jockeys Handicap Chase over 3 mile 2. The favourite is Jericho de Reponnet, who I actually tipped up a couple of years ago in the Supreme Novice Hurdle. I can't believe he's now over 3 mile 2 over fences. And obviously it went wrong that year in the Supreme Novice. It's when the Henderson horses got withdrawn after a couple of days. He's the top weight off 11 stone, off 12 stone, but he has got Derek O'Connor taking the ride, who's considered universally pretty much the best jump jockey for amateurs. For me, he hasn't looked great over fences. His technique hasn't been great, but for all, I think he's the class act of the race. Second in here is for Henry de Bromhead, Alan O'Sullivan taking the ride, is Waterford Whispers. He came third in a really big field at Leopardstown on his latest, and he did all of his good work late on. And again, I want to use the phrase tenderly handled. He's got in off 11 stone 6 here. And I think he is a live danger to Jericho de Reponnet. And I wouldn't be surprised if they flip-flopped as favourites. Kim Rock, there's been money for all week for Joseph O'Brien. Mr. J.L. Gleeson, never heard of him, to be honest, taking the ride. He's shown bits and bobs of form, but you're relying on this new trip suddenly going, bing, this is going to bring about all of the improvement that you needed. Heracles Westwood really, really interests me. Warren Greatchicks, F. Maguire taking the ride, run really well on his last 3 starts. One latest had a wind operation since then, so maybe they think there's a bit more improvement to come out of him. Again, another horse you can usually set your watch by. He has won at the course before and shown a liking for it, and I think he is going to be a big danger. Gordon Elliott's for Jigginstown is Prong Garde à Trois, with Brendan O'Neill taking the ride. He's a bit in and out of form. Look at his form line. Second pulled up, first fourth, fell fourth. But new trip by Cap Guard, so definitely got stamina in the pedigree. He could run a big race, but again, you're playing a bit of guesswork with it on here. Now, the Mullins yard, I've got a 14-1 shot here with Patrick Mullins riding for Willie Mullins, and obviously he's the number one amateur in that yard. Been massively out of form, but the better ground will definitely suit him. It's worth a go at this trip. Nothing on breeding suggests it's something he's crying out for, but I can understand why they're doing it. Where's that Nolan horse? There it is. Sandor Clegane is really interesting. He is really, really well handicapped on last year's form, but the last 12 months, he's just been miles off it. But he could run a race, but there's too much of a risk attached to him, to be honest with you, at the moment. Now, I've got to make an answer on this one because I wanted him in the 4 miler and he didn't go for it. Martin Keithley doesn't listen to me. And that is a horse who is currently 100-1, and that is Hung Jury for Martin Keithley, James King taking the ride. Now, what I would say is the early part of this season, he was in magnificent form. He came 4th at the course in a really, really hot handicap. They then run him too quick after that. He then came back to Cheltenham and won at a huge price. Again, those on the WhatsApp service know we had it off that day, big style at 20-1. The yard fancied it. They knew the trip had fancied it. The ground fancied it, and he absolutely hosed up. He then went to Sandown for, I think they call it the London National, don't they, over 3 mile 5, and finished like an absolute train for second. Now, unfortunately, they then ran him in the Welsh National, and he got pulled up. There was horses falling in front of him, ground like a bog. He likes it soft, not like this, but that was ludicrous. And his run after that wasn't particularly great, though, from what I've heard, they needed to get a pipe opener into him ahead of this, which is now done. I would have gone the 4 miler, but it's interesting because the ground's no different. The call has been made to come out the 4 miler and go for this. James King is a really, really good young rider. And what are we paying on this? I'm just looking on odds checker now. Many are paying top 6 on this. There could be worse each way bets. The secret to Hung Jury is he needs to get into a rhythm. He couldn't do that in the Welsh National. He got caught out wide. The soft ground was there, fallers in front of him, and he kind of just gave up on it. If he gets towards the front and gets jumping, he could run a big race, probably without being good enough to win. But for the win, I am going for Waterford Whispers. Alan O'Sullivan as well, riding, taking Threy off. It'd be a big moment for the family if he could win this. And what sways it for me is the way he finished over 2 mile 5, not exactly pushed last time out. And I think, especially where I've got slight reservations on Jericho de Ropponais over this extended trip and some of his jumping, I just think Waterford Whispers is the answer here. 1, 2, 3 then for the finale, the Kim Muir, Waterford Whispers. God, it's making up the places. I'm going to say Waterford Whispers from Heracles Westwood, and I am going to put Hung Jury in there as well. Thanks for watching, guys. Sorry the video cut out, but it's all this data I've got to go through for you guys. It takes up my memory. Enjoy. Let me know how you get on. Halfway now. 6 winners from the first choice picks, and hopefully a lot more to come. Take care, guys. See you tomorrow for the last day. Bye-bye.